Now I intend to build a touch dim demonstrator on this plank of wood, and I'm going to use an analog supply so I don't have the problems that I had with the little switching supply that came with the thing, which is just not sufficient to the task. And I want to supply touch dim input to the thing. Now I measured these with a digital multimeter at 20 megs, and you can't read any resistance between them. With this guy turned on, a voltmeter shows me nothing between them, so these are fairly safe input wires. When I turn this off, I had this dimmed down somewhat, so that's been about 15 minutes. Let me connect it and see if it remembers where it was. And there we go. I don't know if you can see it, but the little LEDs have come on. Rather than using line voltage like I did to test this in the first place, I'm going to connect it to the 12 volt secondary of the transformer in the linear supply. And there we go. We can turn it off, turn it on, dim it up, and I don't know if you can see it, turn it on and off, and dim it down. If you see any flickering on these outputs, it's because they are turning on and off 400 times a second, and the camera has a scan rate to it. So you'll have to take my word on it that there's no flickering here. So the idea is now that I'm going to mount a push button in this section of this little Radio Shack hobby box and ground the bezel, and I'm just going to tap off the output of this 300 milliamp 12.6 volt transformer and use that for my control input. And this would be a good idea if you're putting in a large system of these, because these would be just fantastic for residential. Each of these outputs is rated at 5 amps. I wouldn't put more than 4 on them, but still, each one of these 3 outputs on this DALI 6003 module will be able to produce approximately 50 watts, or control 50 watts of LED lighting strip, and that's a lot. That is a lot of LED lighting strip. So let's dim them down a little, and I'll put this thing together and I'll show you what that looks like.